So I started riding motorcycles when I was around 13, and what got me in it, I think, was my uncle always rode motorcycles, and I always was enjoying looking at him doing tricks and going to the sand, and it was pretty fun. And he had a motorcycle that he always gave to us to ride while he was just hanging out with his friends, and that's when I started. I have a Suzuki GSX-R 1000cc. I have always been interested in dirt bikes just because I always learned in the sand and I enjoyed that and I'm really good at it. But since I moved to United States, it's illegal to ride them on the streets. So I decided to buy this kind of motorcycles because it's pretty fast and could be fun, could be an adventure every time you go on it. Of course, you have to take good care of your motorcycle, especially if it's a big motorcycle. So you always have to change the filters, the oil. You always have to make sure the water is filled and it doesn't get very, very hot. And as soon as it does, you have to stop. You also have to always make sure that the bolts are tight because it's not a very heavy motorcycle compared like to other vehicles. So when it shakes, the bolts kind of lean a little bit, so you have to tie them to not get injured if you want to be safe. I think riding a motorcycle to campus is a smart idea just because you don't pay parking tuitions and there is a lot of open parking spots, and so you don't have to to look for a parking spot. There's always time. There's always parking spots. I think the most thing I like about motorcycles is that you really refresh your feelings and you get away from your thoughts while you're riding, especially if you're in a nice hometown like Eugene. There's a lot of nature, there's a lot of people that ride in here, and I got to meet a lot of people. And it's also very, very adventurous. Like you have to pay attention, you have to control yourself, and if you lose your control, then you might get injured. So when I got an accident, the first time was in the sand, and it was not very serious. But the third time, I stayed in bed, I lied in bed for a month, and I had a surgery, and I lost my memory for a short time. What I was told is that I was going pretty fast and I was wheeling, and someone from out of the town was visiting the town for relative to just drive his wife, and he did not recognize there was a stop sign, so he just drove through it, and he touched the back wheel of the motorcycle, and that's how I crashed. I always had the idea, I always expected myself to crash and get injured, especially that I enjoy doing the tricks and wheeling and going fast. So I always had the idea, and I always was told that I'm gonna get injured, I'm gonna regret it, but I always was like, there is no regret. I'm enjoying the moment right now, and it means a lot to me to ride, and I actually like would never stop.